Family. You can see we grooving today, family. We got some amazing conversation we're going to have that we will welcome you guys to our show. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike. What's going on?
And we are Military Brothers talking sports. We want to welcome you guys to our show today. We really have an amazing show that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Major League Baseball really not inducting anyone to the Hall of Fame. We're also going to have a conversation as it pertains to COVID and how it really has affected a lot of players and stuff like that. So my thing is, hey, we're looking forward to having some amazing show. We're going to talk about that Prescott. All y'all Dallas, them boys, fans out there.
Them boys.
Yeah, them boys. So looking forward to having an amazing show.
I have to put my true feelings out there today.
Family, sit tight. Looking forward to the amazing conversation and welcome to our show. What's up, family? What's up? I'm Nick.
I'm Mike. What's going on, troops?
Military Brothers talking sports. We'll welcome you guys to our show today. Thank you guys for supporting us. Make sure you subscribe. Go to YouTube, subscribe to our page. Go to Twitch, subscribe. Make sure you're following us. We're talking
and
sports.
Chime in. Don't be sending me text messages.
We want to hear what you guys have to say. For my man Mike, man, I always have to ask, how was your day, my brother?
Man, it was good, man. The weather's beautiful here in Columbia. About 66, 67 degrees, man. Beautiful out. It's going to rain later on, but hey, I enjoyed the day.
I got you. That's a beautiful thing, man. Hey, had a nice, easy day today. Can't complain about today, man. So I'm looking forward to a great show that we're going to have talk about today. First thing we're going to talk about college football, college basketball, and the impact of COVID. And what's your thoughts as it pertains to that? COVID has really impacted both of these. And my thing is, what do you think college is going to be able to do to get around us, get through this, but more importantly, keeping revenue coming in? They will make millions upon millions of dollars as it pertains to, fans coming out to the games and stuff like that. So I want to know your thoughts on the impact of COVID in college basketball and football, the main revenue streams of college sports.
Well, for one thing, COVID has shut down a lot of sports or postponed. We're talking NCAA, and the last time I checked in December, it was over 6,000 cases of collegiate athletes.
Wow.
6,000. Over 6,000 in December.
Wow.
So you can imagine if one person on the team has it, you got to quarantine for at least 10 days. You're looking in the stands of some of these high-priced arenas, hardly filled. They got the cardboard cutouts or people doing virtual. I'm sure the concession sales are down. Ticket sales are down. Revenue is not where it should be or where it usually is. And it is affecting people, man, because most people have to get used to playing in a low numbered crowd. A lot of these kids, they get hype, social media. I'll even add high school. I know we're on the college and a pro, but a lot of high school sports have been canceled. One team had to forfeit going further in the playoffs for a championship because one of the kids caught COVID. So that whole team season was over immediately.
Man, that is crazy. And the thing about it, man, that's really, I think, is hurtful. Even my own son, he was going out for football his senior years. First year he was trying out for football. It really hurt. Welcome, Ace. Appreciate you supporting us, man. Love to hear your comments.
Ooh,
Look at that number. Look at it. Oh, man, just imagine that. And just for example, here in North Carolina, they try to shift to the right and the left. And we're talking about, even though we're talking about high school, it still impact the college because a lot of these kids, a lot of parents are, hoping their kids can get a scholarship to go to college. College is paid for. And sometimes they can't afford to go to college. I mean, I will bless my son. He got an academic scholarship for this one school. They were at I think to go to school, it was like $60,000 a year to go to school, but they offer him 40. Guess who had to try to come up that remaining 20? Us as parents. So the impact of COVID, man, is really, really, we can feel the hurt. We can definitely feel the pain as far as not being able to get out there and support our kids. Like I said, they're going to try to play football in February. Basketball was reduced down to, I think, like 5 or 6 games because of COVID.
Yeah, let me add this in there, and this is a doozy. A lot of these colleges are letting their seniors come back for another senior year because of COVID. This affects the high school kids. I know plenty of high school stars that are receiving PWOs, which is a preferred walk-on.
Okay.
Not bad. Preferred walk-on is parents pay the first year, the school will take care of the rest, but you still have to earn your way on the team. So
Right.
Imagine a kid looking forward to playing college ball, and he receives a letter saying, we're going to let our senior come back because of COVID. He's going to finish out. We'll offer you a PWO. If that's the case, you might as well let high school seniors repeat the senior year because you're shortchanging them.
Yeah.
And on the other side, the parents got to come out. And I myself, Nick, am blessed to have a son who's playing high school sports. He has well received an academic scholarship, to a certain school. So, he has something in the back pocket. He got that's on lock, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But he also has been offered some PWOs from some high-powered schools, and there's nothing wrong with that because I'm sure, given opportunity, any kid is going to earn their keep. But You sit back and say, wow, if I have to sit because a fifth-year senior is coming back, I got a choice. Red shirt, wait till next season, go to another school, transfer over there. And I get that. But do the high school seniors right, too, is all I'm saying.
Man, that is a great point, man. And to me, I believe AAU is going to be huge coming summer because of the lack of visibility of kids being seen and stuff.
Right.
Even as it pertains to even football. You're right, Ace, man. COVID would drive the future TV revenue deals. I agree. I agree with you 110%. That's the reason why the NBA. We're gonna get in that comment, Ace. I would love to hear your comment on that as we talk about the NBA All-Star game a little bit later, and having that detailed conversation more or less. They're even looking at possibly going back to the bubble. So because of that revenue stream, but understand high school don't have that money as the NBA and NFL has. So they're still trying to keep this money coming in. Thank God they have the vaccine. A lot of people are taking it. A lot of people aren't taking it, whatever case may be. And I'm just saying, hopefully we can find something that will allow us to get through this. And it's really hurtful to the kids. I was thinking about my senior year. I'm just like, man, I was able to play sports and all this stuff. And now all of a sudden, not having that ability to be seen just to get some notoriety, or even, like I said, that scholarship is huge for a lot of parents for their kids in school. I never forget the Pittsburgh Steelers, actually, their second-round draft pick, the outside linebacker, went to UNCC. He was, as you talk about him being a preferred walk-on, his first he was a preferred walk-on. He developed his skill. Then eventually, he ended up, he ended up starting and, of course, got drafted. So I can just imagine, man, COVID has really impacted college sport because I didn't even watch the championship game as far as college football this year. I really wasn't interested in it because I invested my interest into something else that was occupying my time. And that's the impact of COVID. It is really difficult to find other things to do other than, watching the game, going to the games, or whatever the case may be. Fans are shifting their interest into other things that occupy their time. And I believe that these sports, especially on the college level, are going to be hurt because you're going to support your kids. I was not be impacted as much. But the college, they're going to really be impacted by these people not coming out and support them like normally they would do.
Listen, I have a breakdown, Nick, of the conferences and the COVID cases. I'm not going to name them all, but let's just take now. This is athletics across the department, across the campus. Let's take the Big Ten, for instance. 1,850. That's Minnesota, Iowa, and Michigan. Just those three. 1,850 cases.
Wow.
The Big 12, 1,357. That's Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State. I will mention Conference USA because we got the almighty UNCC up in there.
Gotcha.
939 cases, including UNCC, Louisiana Tech, and Florida Atlantic. ACC, 809 cases, Clemson, Louisville, North Carolina State. Wow. And let's not forget when Trevor Lawrence had to quarantine, even though Clemson was doing their thing, so this thing goes to the highest level, man. And listen, I think I can speak for Nick when I say this. We're not against COVID protocol. Health is first.
Right.
Health is first. Trust me. I got a youngster who plays high school sports. I don't think we've bought as much hand sanitizer and got tested so much ever. I'm up to 7 or 8 tests. I'm getting tested at least every week. I keep hand sanitizer on me, Clorox wipes. So we're not against COVID protocol. We're just letting you know there's certain people taking hits. Let's go to the Mountain West. 577 cases, Boise State, Utah State, Wyoming. And this is all the sports on that campus. So, I could keep going with Sunbelt and et cetera. But this just lets you know the numerous amount of cases. And it's hard to tell young people to stay in, don't party, don't open up that keg, and stay in and be safe. It's hard. I live in Columbia, South Carolina, and I can go to 5 Points on any night on a Friday or Saturday. All the bars are stacked, and not one of them kids is wearing a mask downtown in 5 Points, Columbia.
Wow. But my thing is, man, we have to come up with a plan that works, that allow things to kind of return back to normal. I'm just wondering what things are they, and I understand, masking up and do what you have to do, but I'm just wondering, man, what are they planning? They're going to have to come up with a plan because they would not be able to survive at this rate. So my thing is that I'm just wondering we'd love to hear other comments. Subscribe to our page. What ideas do people have that can work? One, keep people safe, but two, allow people to kind of transition back to some form of normalcy, back to the game to support them. Because I'm letting you know, if they keep this rate up and they keep this up, people are going to find other things to do. The interest is not going to be there like they used, because even when they start opening the doors, I think it's going to be a slow trickleation of getting back, but that impact is still going to hurt.
Now I'm going to say this respectively. That's the new term, respectively. I don't know if the COVID is affecting the recruiting. Because for the first time in 60 years, we're talking about 1961 for the first time, the Tar Heels, Duke, and I think Kentucky, they're not ranked. Yeah.
That's so true. They didn't get
if those games are coming on. I'm just gonna say, look, why don't I watch Power Book 2? Because the caliber of talent is not there.
Yeah.
And I'm not disrespecting any youngster who plays for those schools if you have one. So it's not that type of party. I'm just saying, y'all know their records.
It is a big difference in playing in a packed arena versus playing in an empty arena. When you have rhythm going, the fans are cheering, and so that is like that 6-man on that you're really, really missing. And just think about it. This is one of the worst seasons Duke Blue Devils have had in a long season. Really, Mike Krzyzewski had his injury; he was out. When you go play in Duke, and those fans are literally sitting on top of you, all that pressure, that made a major difference.
Cameron, They have the
man,
rudest fans
man,
in sports.
man, those
You
fans,
know it's
man,
gonna be
oh my God. And
unbelievable.
it's not big or small. It's packed up. Remind my high school, they used to call when they came to play us, man, we won the state champions in basketball. They used to call it a rat den because it was so small. And so they were packed. People were standing up on the wall to literally, it was like fans literally almost on the court. So and I know the feeling, man. And so that makes a world of a difference.
It does. It makes a difference, man. It makes a difference.
Really makes a major difference as far as that. So I just know, man, they're going to have to come up with something in order for college sports to survive. Football, because baseball, those other sports depend on the revenue from football and basketball in order to support those other sports. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So when you understand that, you need that revenue because these coaches are getting paid. Dabo Sweeney is getting paid like close to $9 million a year. All these guys are getting paid. Some of them take a pay cut. I think Harbaugh took a pay cut this year. So all that comes into play. But they're going to have to come up with something, man, that works across the board. But it's going to be interesting with the plan they come up with.
Right. You're definitely right.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to our next topic, man. Talking about Major League Baseball. This year, Major League Baseball, no one got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. You can see those are like the top 7 guys. I just want to know what's your thoughts on really two players. It's really it's out Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Those 2 individuals. I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm going to give you my perspective. I mean, I love baseball. I'm a huge Yankees fan. I played the sport and whatnot. So I want to know your take. I know you're a Yankees fan as well.
Right. So I'm definitely going with Gary Sheffield.
Yeah.
You know, we know the trouble that Bonds has had. You know, Kurt Schilling's not one of my favorite people. It has nothing to do with his baseball skills, though.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
Clemens got into a little something. But to not have anybody go to the Hall is almost a tragedy, man. I mean, what's it all about? Is it due to COVID?
No.
I don't think I've ever seen the Hall not accept anybody.
But that's not really what it is, man. And my man Ace, he posted, been talking about Mark McGwire, man. I think Mark McGwire have exceeded because you get 10 attempts before they start moving your name off the rolls for
really? Didn't know that. And then let's not forget that Mark McGwire got into a little something, man. So these things, I'm surprised I don't see Pete Rose's name floating by.
But Pete Rose's name, because they actually have suspended Pete Rose. He does. The commissioner is the only one that actually can take him off. I think what's going to happen because Pete Rose gambled on the sport when he was actually a manager. And so I think what's probably going to happen, they're going to wait till Pete Rose actually die, and then they'll end up letting him in. They really don't want to, because he's the all-time hits leader. Yeah. And the thing is that, I understand as far, because coaches can get in as well as players. You're not talking about
posthumously? Posthumously? They're going to put him in after he dies?
I would not be surprised if that happened. They have that much hatred towards him. But my thing is that as it pertains to Pete Rose, you're talking about what Pete Rose did on the field versus what he did as a manager. We're not talking about him getting in the Hall as a manager. We're talking about him actually getting in as a player. Pete Rose is viewed as one of the greatest players of all time. He is viewed arguably one of the greatest hitters to ever, pick the bat up.
I got it. You know, my thing is,
what's going on, Darryl? Appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, he's been banned for life. But
you asked him though. I think Pete was lured. They asked him, "Did you bet on baseball?" And it was asked in such a way that if you tell us the truth, we'll have leniency. He told the truth.
But that really is. I don't view it as really the case. My thing is that you ban Pete Rose for life for him being a manager, not for him being a player. He's going in the Hall of Fame as it pertains to him being a player.
Right.
I got it. He was fired. You can let him know you will no longer be able to manage no more. Got that. But you looking at what he did on the field, even as it pertains to Barry Bonds, primarily Barry Bonds. To me, Barry Bonds is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. To me, I believe Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. And I understand people talk about steroids and stuff like that, but you got to realize Major League Baseball allowed these guys to utilize steroids and didn't have a problem with it. And based on them not having a problem with it, because fans were coming out to see them play. And so now all of a sudden, you want to ban them. Now you want to call up Roger Clemens. You want to say that when the fans was coming out. That's the issue that I have as it pertains to Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. There wasn't anything in place to where those guys were getting tested that would have suspended them for taking steroids. Right. That was. So my thing is that why are you keeping them out for something that you did not put in place to ban them? Yeah, I agree with you, Ace.
And like you said, once those ticket sales was rocking, because all the hoopla and the hysteria was surrounding Barry Bonds anyway. You let him get right up there on that mound. You get the pitches off the mound. You let him get right on over there and hit them balls. And like my man said, you making money off those players. So you could not have said, Mark Aguirre, we don't need you over here. Bonds, sorry. Because the fans would have went crazy. This is who they come to see. They want to see them knock the ball out the park. So you use them.
Yes.
And now you have morals, values, and ethics and say, you know what? Because of what you did, your PEDs, steroids, whatever, performance enhancement drugs, we're going to not accept you in the hall. It doesn't matter how many times you get nominated. This is your punishment.
And to me, man, that is unacceptable, man. That just goes. That's the reason why Major League Baseball, man, it used to be, like I said, when it came to ranking the sport back in the day, baseball was number one. And they have slowly but surely going down because, one, I really don't believe they've reached out and done their part as far as reaching out in the community, investing into these communities, and they're being hurt by it. So, but baseball can only blame themselves. But to me, I just think it's really unacceptable for you to doggone call yourself banning these guys, stopping these guys from getting in based off of something that you allowed. You allowed them to do that. Now all of a sudden you have an issue and you have a problem with it. To me, man, that's no reason. To me, Gary Sheffield definitely should be higher on the rankings. And I believe Schilling, those Schilling, Barry Bonds, as well as Roger Clemens should definitely be allowed into the hall. And I think next year is their last opportunity to actually be able to get in into the hall. So it's going to be interesting. I know Derek Jeter made it in last year. Last year Jeter was the one who made it in. So it's going to be interesting, definitely. Hey man, I know you dropped this story on me as we talk about this man story, Chad Wheeler.
Yeah. And as I was traveling today, I saw the story trending on Twitter. So I'm gonna say this: Wheeler needs the Ray Rice treatment. Give it to him. You dragged Ray. You got in the business. It got exposed. You got caught. So you said, hey, we're going to suspend him. Nope, we're going to kick him out. This dude should be scared to walk into the Seattle locker room. I don't know if anyone has seen the pictures of this young lady.
Yeah.
The before and after. And apparently she wouldn't bow down to him. What?
Yeah. If
really?
You heard the story, and I'm going to pull it up.
If that sister has any male relatives, throw some female relatives in there. I'm not going to finish it. Y'all fill in the blank. Tried to kill. This sister's face looks like that she was mugged in a back alley, man, by about 2 or 3 dudes.
What I'm going to show you, family, what this sister looked like before, as well as after.
Wouldn't bow down to him. Wouldn't bow down to him.
Right here, that he was dating, was his girlfriend and whatnot. And this is what the sister looked like when she got finished with him. To me, man, dude, my thing is, how in the world can you even think that this is okay to put your hands on a sister like that? Girl, you know, just a female like that, period. It blows my mind as to what make him think because she would not bow down to him that he had an issue with that. You think that you are her master or something to that effect? That blows my mind. And he said, you can see Stroller, he was surprised that she actually survived this. He was surprised that she, and here it is right here.
He should be denied any kind of bail whatsoever.
Bruh.
Go ahead and set his charges to the fullest and to the max.
Fam, I would love to hear you guys, thoughts on this. Or what I'm really speechless as to what made him think that was acceptable.
While sipping a smoothie.
Dude, you treated this young lady worse than a dog. And now I'm going to be interested to see what happens to him. And you brought it up. You talk about the Ray Rice for him.
Yep. Everything was gone.
He's gone. I'm interested to see what they're going to do because they counsel Ray Rice, and I know Darryl. He mentioned it. Eternal back. Hey, my thing is that legal actions. What is the law going to do to this, brother?
Jail time. Got to kill it.
My thing.
That's attempted murder.
Man,
that's assault with intent to kill.
Bruh, my thing, that's my whole thing about it, because I know the NFL, so their goal was to start getting tougher on people that breaking the law, doing things like this, domestic violence. As you know, a lot of NFL players was, involved in domestic violence a lot of time. And then those guys, they will escape. They will be able to get away with stuff. But now because of social media and this stuff that's coming out, phones capturing everything, now we visually, just think about that. There's a difference in being able to talk about it and visually seeing it.
And that's what ruined Ray Rice.
Yeah.
Once we heard what happened, okay, we got you, suspend him. They worked it out. Once that video footage hit social media and what happened in that elevator, and as you said, people played it over and over and over. And all of a sudden, the sponsors started calling the Baltimore Ravens in the stadium. What y'all gonna do? Because if you don't do nothing, we gonna withdraw Verizon. Pepsi Cola gonna withdraw. Budweiser gonna withdraw from the stadium. They started losing business. Oh, we got to get rid of Ray.
Hey,
he costing us concession stands.
I mean, I understand him and his girl worked it out.
And let me say something, fellas out here. Picture that being your family, your peoples, your daughter, your sister, man. See, that couldn't be my people. His safest place would be jail. Couldn't be nobody close to me, man. Nobody. My folks don't roll like that, man.
That right there, man. When I saw that picture, I just could not believe that this guy put hands on this young lady like that, to where you couldn't even recognize what she looked like. Unrecognizable. And dude, And I guarantee you, he's going to come up with some excuse to try to justify his action.
I don't want to hear nothing about how he grew up in an abusive home. Uh, he saw his parents fight and mama got. I don't want to hear nothing, man.
None of that.
Because you too big. You're a professional football player, and you beat that woman like it was a dude, like she stole from you or tried to hurt somebody in your family, man.
Yeah,
you got an ego problem. You weak and you're a coward, man.
Yeah.
There's no way he should be able to go into the Seattle locker room for anything. Put his stuff in a box, man, and go ahead and put it in a dumpster.
That's hey, both Darryl and Ace commented on that. Cancel him, get rid of him. Definitely the Ray Rice treatment. You can no longer be a representative of the sport. And that's the thing that players have to realize, man. Sometimes money go to some players' head, but you got to realize that you are representing not only the Seattle Seahawks, you're representing the National Football League. You're wearing that brand. So when you're out here doing things, you have to think about your career. You have to think about the impact, that decision that I make, how this is going to impact me and my family. So right. For you to not think that through, like some of the guys get on, drugs, but I know marijuana is now being more acceptable and now it's different. But I know back in the day, man, one of my guy I used to root for, Martavis Bryant, he's with the CFL now, but when he was with the Steelers, but he had a problem with marijuana, and I understand some of these guys take these drugs, marijuana, because of the impact and the hits and the blows, and I got all that. But my thing is that if you understand, you recognize that you have issues, you need to go seek help. And be like, hey man, I have a problem, I have an issue, I need some help. And and the best thing for you to do, step up the plate and recognize you need help. Go get that help. The NFL and these NFL teams have the finances and the resources that you get the help that you need. That's why there's no excuses for him to get to that young lady.
Nick, you said something super fantastic, but you have to want to get help.
Yeah.
What he did was reckless abandonment and no regard for her life. You just said it. That's something you do to an animal. And you got the nerve to go and finish your dinner and sip on a drink talking about, wow, you still living. I don't know what kind of, I'm almost sure he has some mental issues, and I get that. But dudes like him, they don't want help. Clearly he's done that before because he was comfortable. Need to be dealt with the fullest extent of the law. And hopefully his cellmates handle him the same way. There's no excuse. You said it all. Zero excuses, man. Don't want to hear about your mental instability. You suffering from nothing, man. Nothing.
Man.
Because you know what pain is. You know how to issue it out and then talk crazy afterwards. Unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
We'll roll on to the next topic, which is dealing with the NBA All-Star Game. Want to get your thoughts on, do you think that the NBA All-Star Game should be played this year? And I know they're talking about the All-Star Game and whatnot. I'm just want to know what's your level of interest in the NBA All-Star Game?
I say go for it. Have those guys who make the team do another bubble. And like I said, we're not against COVID protocol. Follow all procedures. But I think some of these guys have worked extremely hard. They need to be selected. I know the season just started in December. I get it. And that's quick. But there are some guys out there that's getting busy. And
but you know the reason why they're talking about the NBA All-Star Game, I'm not sure you realize this or not. They're talking about actually hosting the All-Star Game in Atlanta. And some of the venues they want to look to host at is actually at these historically black colleges and universities. So it's a way of them giving back. As you know, most of the NBA are black players. So it's their way of trying to give back to a lot of the historically black colleges, playing on their courts having events there and stuff, like trying to generate some revenue, as we just talked about, because of the impact of COVID.
That would be excellent, man. And on that note, I want to give kudos to the Atlanta Hawks with the MLK on their uniforms, the Afrocentric court, excellent. I like that. It needs to happen. Make it happen. Let's do it.
Yeah. So it is a form. I know it's in discussion and is led by Chris Paul. He was the one who really, came to the NBA like, hey, most idea like, hey, I think we should look at possibly holding some events, maybe games or whatever, at a lot of the historical black colleges, because they're being hurt right now. They're not able to generate the revenue. And so this is a way that they can invest back into these historically black colleges to be able to help out. And so I love the idea. It's thinking outside of the box to be able to reach out and do more in the communities and for these really these colleges who are really trying to give people the opportunity to earn a degree, get a degree, and being able to be productive citizens. So if it's financial issues that they have, it's a way to where they can assist with assist with some of these financial instabilities that these colleges and universities have.
Right. And I believe that Chris Paul actually took some courses and was trying to finish up his degree at Winston-Salem State University.
Okay.
And people were like, what? Wow. There's something called personal satisfaction. Guy wants to complete his degree. Everyone in Chris Paul's family went to HBCU.
Yeah.
So, and he knows people there. He has connections. He has ties in Winston-Salem. So, hey, I like that. Chris wore the HBCU jersey while in the bubble. Yes, of course, man. Awesome deal. I think they all need to do that. And especially if you made the league from HBCU, a Ben Wallace, a Rick Mahorn, Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
There's many others. Yeah.
I mean, you just think about it. Back in the day, man, they couldn't play at a lot of these predominantly white universities. So that's where they actually had to go. That's why I have so much respect for what Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State, man. He is really, really getting players to consider. I mean, 4-star recruits.
Yeah.
Really consider, have signed to go with Jackson State. The likes of Alabama turning them down to go and play for them, man. So to me,
yes,
really is showing. And then there was a 5-star recruit. I want to say, I'm not sure if it's Shaw University. I know it's a university here in North Carolina. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up.
A&T?
Huh?
North Carolina A&T?
Yes. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, brother.
Yep.
It is North Carolina A&T. So he's playing for North Carolina A&T. His thing is that a lot of these, when Black Lives Matter really start picking up a lot of momentum, he was saying a lot of these players need to say, hey, we need to start going to a lot of these black predominantly universities and start helping these universities out. Taking our talents there, because North Carolina A&T is still a D1 school.
Yeah, the 2 guys from A&T made it to the pros about 2 years ago, one of them being Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen is, I don't want to exaggerate, but he has to be about 5'5", 5'6", incredibly fast. He got that Tyreek Hill speed. Last I heard, I think he was with the Bears. Now, it could be somebody else, but yes, Tariq Cohen. And there was a high recruit turned down UCLA to go to Howard. I think his last name he's one of those Thon Maker kids. If that's not his name, he's related to him. Yeah, turned down UCLA to go to Howard, and everybody got down on him and disrespected him and talking about the level of talent. He was like, nope, I can still get it in right here.
Yeah. And my man was it was lightning in a bottle. And that's my thing, man. and I like to use the Ja Morant story, man.
Yes.
Ja, man, he was a heavy recruiter. A lot of people looked past him until like towards the end, and then Murray State saw him like, hey, man, who is this kid? Went to Murray State, lit it up. Now the number 2 draft pick by the Memphis last year. So to me, if you're talented and you can get the job done, people will see you. They will notice you, and you can be picked up and found at these historically black colleges and universities. So I believe there are a lot of our young kids are socially conscious what was taking place now. A lot more are, looking to get more involved, and they're really making a change. There is a shift that's taking place, and people need to make sure they're paying notice to what is actually transpiring with our kids. Our kids are definitely getting involved. They're educating themselves, and they're actually making an impact. And so as it pertains to that and the NBA All-Star, I love the fact that that's the way of giving back. And I can say one thing about the NBA. I think out of NBA, NFL, all the sports, they're most socially, well, outside of the WNBA. But just the NBA, they're definitely socially conscious of what's taking place, and they're doing their part to try to create an impact and actually try to make things better. And so that's the one thing I always have to tip my hat off with the NBA of what they're looking to do, even except for the China situation. Spoke out because they have so much money invested into China. Yeah, they were kind of like, I don't know if we really want to touch that because they're making a lot of money off of China.
Yeah. Listen, I want to run something by you, Nick. Speaking of all-stars and basketball, I got some East small forwards for you if you got the West. How you feel about that?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about that on tomorrow.
Okay, we could do that. That. I just wanted to throw it out there to you.
Yeah, I would love you guys to chime in. I was going to hit both of them up. We just have more of a conversation tomorrow on tomorrow's show. And we'll save it to the end. Give you guys. We would love to hear you guys comment, and we'll discuss this more tomorrow as far as ranking the top small forwards in the East as well as the West. And we're going to talk about that on tomorrow. And so that's going to be an interesting show, ranking the East as well as the West. So Sounds good. So now we're going to move on to this topic. And I say this topic for last because I believe we're going to talk about this for quite some time. Dak Prescott and them boys. How you calling them boys? Them Dallas Cowboys.
Them boys, yes.
Dallas want Dak Prescott to take a hometown discount as far as the money that he's asking for. I'm going to put a pin right there. And the reason why they want him to take a discount, how much money do you think Dak Prescott is actually making in endorsement alone?
He, you want me to guess?
Yeah.
$9 million.
Dak Prescott is making over $50 million a year in endorsements alone. Now,
that has nothing to do with his check, though, his salary.
No. And we're going, like
according
I said,
according to him.
Hey, we're going to get it and remind you that Prescott want to make over $40 million. That's what he's asking for. Between $35 and $40 million, whatever the case may be, they're in negotiations. So because he's making $50 million a year, he just signed a new contract, endorsement deal, beer endorsement deal, and the brother's going to be making $50 million in that. And to me, if Dak Prescott wasn't on Dallas, I don't think he would have been getting the endorsement that he's getting. I believe Dallas brand. I'm not a Dallas. You see, I'm repping my Steelers gear. Yeah, and I'm with you, Ace, and I'm gonna get into that. To me, I don't think he should take a discount because this is my thing. When Tony Romo was up for a contract, did he ask Tony Romo to take a discount?
I mean, if you're gonna go there, go there. But as I said, Darryl Tucker, thank you for that. My thing is his $50 million in endorsements, those are bonuses for him.
Yes.
It literally has nothing to do with his main contract. Hometown discount. Now, I'm not a Dallas fan by far at all, whatsoever. Got to throw that out there. This brother could have had a career-ending injury. That last torn when that foot got stuck in the turf and the body went the other way. Very horrible, man. My heart dropped. I mean, it fell for this kid. You're asking him, after all he went through,
Yep.
to take a hometown discount, some home cooking.
Home cooking.
Smack in the face.
To me,
Listen, we know you tore your ACL, giving it all you got, and you made us 13-3 one year, but we need you to do this right here.
but Dallas can only blame themselves for this. Dallas, one thing, I mean, Dak Prescott, he betted on himself. When Dak Prescott, they did just what Patrick Mahomes just did with the Kansas City Chiefs. They could have extended Dak Prescott when he was asking, I would say, about $32, $33 million a year. They could have actually signed Dak Prescott to an extension that would have saved them money. Now, like I said, Ben Roethlisberger will be making $41 million next year. Patrick Mahomes is about to be making $50 million. Deshaun Watson is going to be making over $40 million. So now, because of inflation, it's going up. Yeah, Ace. They're pocket watching, baby, seeing what his pocket looks like. But
and you know what? I'm going to listen, I got to reiterate, because there's a lot of people that's going to try. I don't like Dallas, but I respect certain players on there. Dak, 2-time Pro Bowler, still in his prime. He's a youngster.
But
his contract is set to expire in a couple of weeks. That's the best you can do.
Yeah, 35. You're right, Daryl. I'm throwing this out here. I want you guys to chime in. I'm even asking you, Mike, you chime in. I'm definitely going to read it. You definitely franchise, $35 million tag. Do you believe anybody else would give a Dak $40 million a year? Is my question.
Anybody besides Dallas?
Anybody besides Dallas?
You just named some key players, man. He's in good, but like you say, you know, and I don't want to say that they're taking care of their own. Dallas has money to burn. That's one. They can afford it. But your question was, will anybody else give him $40 million?
Because that's what he's asking for.
Well, he asked for that last time and got about 31, 32. So
35. Daryl just
what he's getting. So
franchise tag.
It looks like we can haggle over the fee. Will someone give him between 35 and 40? He might have to cast his nets out there and see.
But
his agent need to be going to work to see if anybody's willing to bite.
To me, Dak Prescott has Dallas in a stranglehold. Because my thing is that they cannot afford to lose Dak. You seen what happened in that offense when Dak got hurt and he left.
I said I was going to get my man's jersey, whatever his last name was, Dudley or Dinwiddie, Dirkle, whatever it is, man. Just I'm going to get it. I loved it, man.
Yeah, but my thing is that who else is going to give Dak Prescott $40+ million? And we talked about there are teams out there. You have the Washington Redskins. I mean, just think about it. The quarterbacks that you really look at outside of Dallas. Even if you look at the Houston Texans, they have Deshaun, but they trade Deshaun. You will trade Deshaun. Whatnot. Okay. Darryl feel that Washington will pay him, depends on his comeback. Okay, yes. Now, I don't disagree with you, brother. Yes, they definitely need a quarterback. But my thing is that would Washington pay Dak Prescott? He's asking for $40 million. I don't think so. I think Washington right now and look into somebody like Matthew Stafford, as we talked about a couple of days ago. You were on our show, and we appreciate you supporting us. But they don't have to pay. I think they would get away with paying Matthew Stafford $32 million or something like that. It won't be Philly because, as you know, Philly already paying walking to him. They want now. You say shop Jared Goff, but who are they going to shop him to? My thing is that those things come into question. So that's the thing. I don't believe nobody else is willing to pay Dak outside of Dallas. But because Dallas had put themselves in such a tight situation because they didn't sign him 2 years ago, to where they franchised him. And I'm gonna put it this way. You remember this? Remember what Washington did a couple of years ago when they actually kept franchise tagging a quarterback, my man who's with Minnesota right now. They kept franchise tagging him. This guy, I think within like 3 years, he made like over $120 million because they kept franchise tagging him. So my thing is that either two things have to happen as it pertains to that. You have to sign him or you're going to have to release him because you're right. Yeah, Stafford has 40 left on his contract, but I think he has 2 years remaining on that contract. I mean, I can double check and remaining. So they're going to release him.
You said sign or release. Well, if sign, what, at his asking price?
That's what I'm saying. Because if you keep kicking the can down the road, that can is going to keep getting bigger. So you're going to have to, like they say, you're going to have to either pee or get off the pot. Dallas got to make a decision on what they're, what they're going to do. So if they continue to be playing around with this thing, they're going to have to make it. If they were smart, they're going to say, okay, two things are going to happen because you already see Dallas is in the draft.
They got about 7 weeks.
There's a quarterback out there. I was like, hey, you know what, Dak? We're not going to pay you $43 million a year. What we're going to do, we're going to get a young quarterback in the draft and move forward with a younger quarterback and just start over.
Dak's in his prime, man.
I got that. But are you willing to pay Dak $40 million a year?
If you give him an ultimatum, he might say, you know what, then I'm going to walk.
Who else? But he walked. Nobody else is going to give him that money.
But listen, sometimes people are not willing to stay if they can't get what they want. They'd rather go somewhere else and then take that less.
Thank you, Darryl. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was Kirk Cousins. Yeah. You're right. Minnesota, he put Minnesota in a bind. Minnesota realized they had to sign Kirk Cousins because of the fact of, okay, they want to be competitive, but you had to make a decision. Is Kirk Cousins your quarterback of the future? He made a playoff last year. They won that first game, and they realized they had to make a decision. So that's why they gave him that contract extension.
What I'm trying to say is Dak would rather take a lower cut from somewhere else than Dallas, who won't give him what he wants, trying to disrespect him and play him. I get the ultimatum. I think he's in a win-win situation. He might not. Okay, Dallas, we're not going to give you $40 million. So he goes somewhere else and gets paid. But he refuses to take that disrespect from Dallas. He'll go somewhere else for a pay cut.
I don't disagree with that because, like I said, his endorsement, he's making over. Yeah. So I believe that what Dak Prescott is actually doing, I believe Dak Prescott is putting pressure on Dallas.
And he should, man. Get them boys for everything you can. Give it up. You got a $100 million stadium. Get that man some money.
Boy, there you go. Them boys, like you say.
Them boys. Get them. Give it to them.
Boy, there you go, boy.
I say, listen, Dak, come on over to the Giants.
Wow.
Let Daniel Jones go to Dallas.
Wow. You would take Dak Prescott over
in a heartbeat.
You don't like Daniel Jones.
Yo, he's not bringing the pain.
Hey, to me, it would be interesting because Dak Prescott is a good quarterback.
Yeah, he can ball, man. He can ball.
To me, to me, Dak Prescott is an upgrade. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
but not at $40 million. But not at $40 million. That's my thing. To me, as a Steelers fan, that's where Pittsburgh made the mistake. They giving Ben Roethlisberger that money. Now he's $41 million cabinet next year if he stayed. So to me, my thing is that you have to look at longevity. I mean, Kansas City did a smart thing because the salary cap was only going to go up because of COVID. It went down. Now what's your ace? See, yeah, Kirk Cousins, $80 million guaranteed contract, guaranteed. So my thing is that if we really break it down, that's kind of a bargain for what these guys are getting paid now. Salary cap is only going to be going up, but Kansas City, what they did, they gave, they signed Patrick Mahomes to have $1 billion contract, $50 million a year, but that keeps him over the year. But the cap is only going to go up. So really, within the next 5 years, it's going to be looking favorable to Kansas City Chiefs. But my thing is that, especially if he keep performing like the way he's performing,
yeah.
So it's going to look in their favor. So I'm like, okay, Dak. To me, Dallas is going to have to make an ultimatum. And I have cousins out here who are big Dallas Cowboy fan. And so my thing is that they're going to have to make a decision what to do about Dak Prescott. Because if you make the wrong decision and you don't sign him back and you bring somebody else in there and you don't perform and that player doesn't perform.
And Dak goes somewhere and blow up.
Yeah, goes to play. It's going to be egg on Jerry Jones's face. So the only thing I'm just saying, they have to make a decision.
Well, Dak is sitting in the catbird. Dak is in the catbird seat. He's sitting up high. He can look down. Y'all let me know what's up. I'm sitting up here. It's either or. I'm going to still get paid.
And you're right, Dad. That's what I'm talking about. They gave Patrick Mahomes a 10-year contract. That was smart. 10 years. For half $1 billion, half of $500 million. But they have him locked up for the next 10 years. So they can work around that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think eventually, that's why Sammy Watkins took a little bit of less money, ought to remain there, still getting paid decently. I mean, Kelsey, so they gave them guys contracts to extend out, but they realized they keep Patrick Mahomes, keeping a solid offensive line, and they're going to do what they have to do to make sure they remain competitive. But Dallas has to make a decision what to do about Dak Prescott. The issue I have with Dallas is the fact that you want Dak Prescott to take a hometown discount for something that he earned.
Yeah.
He put in the work. Dak Prescott was a third-round draft pick out of Mississippi State, was underpaid for so many years. He finally got paid this year $35 million, and you want him to take a hometown discount where you underpaid him for his first 3 years in the league.
Yeah. That's amazing. But that's Jerry's world. That's how he do, man. Hey, I know we underpaid you, but we just want to underpay you a little bit more now.
Man, that right there is unacceptable.
But you made sure Romo's pockets was fat on the way out the door.
There we go. It was there. He had no issue with giving Romo that contract, but he wanted to undercut. And I'm, as you know, me and you are not Dallas cowgirl. I call him a cowgirl.
By no means.
That's the only reason they go and see Dallas play, to see the stadium and see the cheerleader with the pom pom. Only reason. That's the only reason why. So that's just my thought. But like I said, yep, when he was there. But my thing is that they agreed to a contract. So, but hey, family, as we get towards the end of the show, my brother, tomorrow we want to make you chime in. We're going to be debating, ranking the top small forward in the East and the West. You guys get your list together. We love to have that conversation. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Deshaun is a much better quarterback. Yeah, I agree with you. It just Dallas is going to have to make a decision when it comes to what to do about Dak Prescott. So let you guys know. Hey, guys, we appreciate you guys joining us today. Make sure you subscribe to our page. Make sure you plan to join us on tomorrow. Like I said, we have some amazing conversation, man. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And we are Military Brothers talking sports. Peace.